everybody, I am back with my classroom tour video, and before I share that video or that tour with you guys, I wanted to do a quick intro to first say thank you to all of you who expressed an interest in seeing what my classroom looks like for this upcoming school year. You guys' excitement and enthusiasm about my classroom coming together kept me going on those days where I just wanted to be done with the whole process. So thank you so much. I hope that you guys enjoy this. I want to say a very big thank you to the following people that helped me throughout the process. Liza, who you guys know from my vlogs, helped me out a great deal because we both had classrooms to put together, so she spent some time with me. I want to thank Andrea and her daughter Maddie for, Andrea made some very nice outlet covers that I would have never done. Her daughter Maddie spent a great deal of time helping me scan books for my classroom library. And I want to give a huge thank to Fran. Fran is someone that I've known for years. I had her son when he was in the 4th grade, I believe. He is now graduated from high school and doing great things. And as soon as she heard that both Liza and I were transferring schools, she volunteered to help us set up our classrooms and kind of come up with some decor ideas. And some of the pieces in my classroom that I love the most came from her. So I want to say a huge thank you to you, Fran. I know that you're watching. I hope that you know that I love everything that you did, and I appreciate you so much. So without much further ado, this is my classroom tour. Again, keep in mind that yes, I have spent some money in putting my classroom together, but my classroom will look this way for the next few years. I will not be doing this again for another few years unless I have some change in placement, which I better not have unless I choose to do that. So anyway, I hope that you guys enjoy. Before you take a look, when you finish this video, please make sure to take a look at my first day jitters tag that I created. I just filmed that. When you check that out, you'll notice that I'm wearing the exact same outfit because I literally just filmed it a minute ago. But by the time you're seeing this, it will be uploaded. So make sure that you click on the little card up there, and that will take you directly to that video. Also, at the end, if you like what you saw, please do give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And that's it. So I hope that you guys enjoy.
Alrighty, so this is the view from the front door. So I've always wanted to have a nice little potted plant in front of my classroom or right outside the door, and luckily I have this really nice open space here, so I was able to not only put a potted plant there but also a little bench, and I bought that bench from IKEA. I will try and link everything I can remember in the description box. So what I plan to do is on the door every month I am going to put the theme for growth mindset, because that's one of my big goals. So the month of August is back to school, and this, I don't think this was necessarily in the book, but I just chose to focus on the idea that we are all important for the month of August as we're establishing our procedures and routines. So I will be writing that on the window every month. So let's go ahead and take a look inside. So here is the very first, or the front view of the classroom when you walk inside the classroom door. So just very quickly, that door on the other side is just the door that leads to that middle work area, because our classrooms are arranged in pods. So this is the view from the very front. So I will take you around one section at a time, and I will do my best to try and explain everything or kind of tell you where I got things. So this wall here, this was probably the wall that I was the most nervous about, just because it is not bulletin board. So in the process of putting my classroom together, a lot of you were asking, how do I hang the paper on the wall? And so I explained that all of the walls with the paper on it, they're just giant bulletin boards. And this was the one wall that was just a regular wall. And at first I wasn't sure if we were allowed to hang anything on it or put staples in it, but I found out that we were. But I knew I didn't want to paper the wall, because I thought, this white wall would be a nice eye break if I was going to do floor to ceiling paper, but then if it's going to be an eye break, what was I going to put on the wall? So ultimately, as you can see, I decided to make it a bit of a gallery wall. So I just found some signs that I thought would go with the classroom colors and then be relevant to teaching. So first and foremost, all these pom poms came from an online shop that I ordered from. I can't remember it right now, but I will try and figure out where they came from. This sign here that says your future is, or the future is bright, is from Target in the children's section, as well as this BU sign. The Love to Learn sign is from the Target Dollar Spot. The love sign was from Hobby Lobby, and I used a 40% off coupon for that. Never pay full price if you don't have to. And then these signs here were handmade and painted by Fran, which is the mom that has helped both Liza and I get our classrooms together. So they came out really cute, and these were kind of a last minute addition when I found out that these are going to be our basic school rules because we are going towards PBIS this year. So she hand painted them, and they worked absolutely perfectly. These two things here are also from the Target dollar spot, and my intention is to hang classroom photos there. I am going to try and start an Instagram account with my class this year, so I just plan to hang pictures that we take from those clips. Second to that in this area is my book area. So I had these in my last classroom, and they were on or inside black bins on a black metal crate. So I just switched out the storage units. So these are storage units from Bed Bath & Beyond. These are two separate units that are zip tied together. So if you look really closely, I had to zip tie them because if I didn't, the whole thing would collapse. They cost $19.99 each, but I used coupons, of course, because I have a ton of those from Bed Bath & Beyond. But these are just the books that I use to go along with the monthly fun fact. What I do need to do is put the fun fact pages in there because I forgot that I need to change those over and make them yellow so that they match this classroom. And I can't remember the person I was supposed to send those to on a side note, but when I find them, I will send them to you. So if you're watching, I am so sorry that I forgot, but they are on their way. Moving on, this is going to be the board for social studies and science. This year I am going to try and combine both subject matters on one board. A, because I was short on bulletin board space, and B, I don't typically have a whole lot to display in these categories, which may be a bad thing. I'm not really sure why that ends up being the case. So I figured I can at least put reference pages up there for what we're studying, or if I need to put student work and I need extra space, I'll kind of make use of that wall there since this is just that awkward space. So in addition to maybe using that wall for student work, this awkward space right here, hopefully I will be able to fit my Chromebook charging cart there. We don't have carts for everyone at the school yet, but I think that the principal is going to get one for me so that I can pilot a particular cart and let her know if it's worth purchasing. So my hope is that I can fit it there, even though there's an outlet right there. I'm going to figure it out. So on to this section here. This is my small group area and writing wall. This rolling whiteboard is my big splurge of the school year. I've always wanted one of these, especially when I try to, or especially now that I've really tried to commit myself to doing guided reading and pulling more small groups at the back. It's just nice to have one of these available to you that's not sitting on the desk and taking up desk space, that also has storage. So it does come with these drawers down over here on the side. So there's drawers here and here, and there's also drawers on the other side. And then it also has these wire racks that I think are meant for big books, but I just put my binders in there that I'll be using. I will definitely try and link that in the description box. It was pricey, I will warn you of that, but I do think that it was worth it because it's very well built. There's a fly in here, so if you see one flying across the screen or you see me swatting my hands, that's why. Then the back table, I also bought these stools from IKEA when I took that trip to IKEA a few weeks ago. And then this chair here, I had it already from my last classroom. That was from Target. And then the storage unit I also had already. The only thing that I did different is that I did go ahead and replace the bins. So before I had black, I think these were black. Either these, the bottom ones are black. No, the bottom ones were white, excuse me. The top was black, so I replaced the black with the yellow since black didn't go with my color scheme anymore. And then here is the writing wall. I love how this turned out. Fran, who made the signs that I showed you earlier, she went out and she picked different patterns of scrapbook paper and then brought them back. And then she also made these little clothespins, so she painted them white, made little bows, and then glued them on the clothespin. And there is I think it's a thumbtack that's hot glue gunned on the back of these, and that's how they're sticking in the wall. I don't know if you can tell that, but that's how she did it. when she did this and when I hung this wall up and my other wall that I'll show you in a second, that is when I realized when you're hanging a wall like this where you want paper on the wall to be behind the student work, scrapbooking paper seems to be the way to go. I always have issues cutting construction paper using our paper cutters in the workroom because the paper cutters sometimes aren't cutting exactly even or exactly straight. I don't know if it's the paper cutter or I'm just incompetent at using them, but with scrapbook paper, you know they're all measured exactly the same and they're cut, and so you just have to worry about getting them up there straight. And you guys saw, if you follow my Insta stories, that I use Post-it notes to make sure that they're spaced evenly and straight, and I also use Post-it notes to help me place my numbers, and these are just calendar sets. So these are actually numbers that are meant for a calendar, but I just use them as student numbers. I also think that that's helpful so that I don't have to change this board every year. If I put student names there, then I'd have to take those down and replace them every year. But I put numbers because the student names will be on the paper itself. So there you go. Over here, this is probably, let me see if I can find a good angle for you guys, probably my favorite part of the classroom. The TP was something that I didn't intend to have when I started doing my classroom, but I couldn't resist when I saw this. So I saw this at Hobby Lobby and I liked it because it had little gold accents on it, and I knew I was going to put a little bit of gold in my classroom. So this was in the kids section. I bought this for 40% off. In order to pay for it, I sold the old chair that I had in my classroom, that black and white chevron stripe chair. So I sold that since I knew I wasn't going to use it in the class, used a coupon to get this 40% off, and that is how I paid for it. And this little pillow inside came from Target. So right now my intention with this TP is that students that win Student of the Month or Citizen of the Month have access to this TP when they are silently reading. This might also be a incentive that kids can use dojo points to buy if they want to spend some time in the TP reading. They may be able to do so even if they haven't won Student of the Month or something like that using their dojo points. And then of course I have all my books in these bookcases. These are the same bookcases that I had in my last classroom. These are from IKEA and they're, I think, 3 years old now. The tape that you see on the books are just signifying different genres because that's how I like to organize my books in my library. And then I will display books on top of the bookcases that have something to do with the month that we're in. So I will be talking a lot about just trying to develop a love for reading in the first month of school. We'll talk about different genres that kids can be exposed to, and then of course some character development books just to kind of start the year off right. The two potted plants are from my old classroom, so those are not new, as well as this plant here, and all of that is from IKEA. Now this read sign, this is another one of Fran's creations. This is another one of my favorite things. She said that she had this old shutter, and I initially saw this in Liza's class, and when I show you guys Liza's class, which I will at the end of this video, so stay tuned, Liza has one just like this, but the colors are different. And so when I saw it in her classroom, I wanted one, and Fran happened to have, I think she had a second shutter or she found another one, and she made this for me, and I love the way that it turned out. And it just says read, obviously, because you can read. And then I have my genre posters around it just because I want kids to understand what the different genres are so they know what to expect. Also so that they kind of know what they like to read in their spare time and their free time. So those are just there. On this wall, I do plan to put universal themes. I saw something on Teachers Pay Teachers, and right now I can't remember who it's from, but they're just little posters that talk about different themes, and then you put pictures of books that you've read that you feel like goes with those themes. So that's what will be on that wall. And then this chair here replaces the black and white chevron striped chair that I had in my previous classroom. The difference with this one is that I will be the only one sitting in this chair. A, because it's very light and I don't want it to get dirty, and B, well, really, that's the only reason. Like, I only want to sit in it because I don't want it to get dirty. I might change my mind, but I don't know. I definitely need to Scotch guard the chair. But my hope and goal is that that is the chair that I'm sitting in while all my fabulous students are sitting in this carpeted area while I read to them every day. My goal is to read one picture book to them each and every day, and this would be the area that I would like to do that in. When the school year first started, I was supposed to have 25 students. Now I think I'm up to 29. So hopefully with a little creativity, I can kind of get those bodies in there. Plus they're third graders, so they'll be a little bit smaller. So fingers crossed that that works out the way that I intend. So then from the library, we come over here, and this is my growth mindset wall. So this is where I display assignments and projects that will kind of go along with that. Again, I've used scrapbook paper from Michaels. I had to hang this wall 3 times because the first time I tried to do it with just paper that I had cut and it was crooked and not working. So I went and bought some scrapbook paper. Friend made some more bows for this wall. Same thing, clothespin painted white, hot glue gun, a bow on top. And then there is a push pin hot glue gun to the back of that clip. So those clips are actually just pinned into the wall. And then over here, I found this for free from one of my teammates. Just a little poster that teaches kids what to say when they answer the phone. Going this way, this is my desk area. I do like the way this came out, but this was probably one of the more stressful areas because, as you guys know, if you were following my Insta stories, I could not do much of anything in this whole section of the classroom until that particular shelf was hung, and they really waited to the very last minute to get that hung. So that got hung. Then the second stress was I couldn't finish unpacking until these bookcases arrived. Now the bookcases came Friday. And as soon as they arrived, I panicked because they are about a foot taller than what they were supposed to be. I assumed that they were going to be the same height as the bookcases that I had in my previous classroom. So when I had my dad come and hang my pictures, the hanging of those pictures were based on the measurement of those old bookcases. So when these arrived, they were much too tall and they were covering things up. Luckily, my dad came back and he rehung these for me. So we got that situated. I even contemplated for a split second buying my own bookcases, but then realized that would be ridiculous. I've already spent quite a bit on my classroom and I needed to make these work. The sad part is because these are so tall, if you saw my post on Instagram a few weeks ago, I had this really nice gold framed whiteboard calendar and it was hung there. It was hung in the middle and then my diplomas were on the side before this whole bookcase debacle happened. And because the bookcases were too tall, I had to take it down and there was no way to fit all of it. And then I ended up having to return it all together because I got it for a discounted price because it had a little crack in it. And I thought that crack would stay the same, but that crack grew and then the picture was almost breaking in half by the end of the day on Friday. So I took that back. But just to get a closer look at my desk, these are just the things that I'm hoping to keep on my desk. I don't want it to get too cluttered or too busy aside from what it's going to get when I'm working during the day. But this plant came from IKEA as well as the container, the tape dispensers from Target, the pen holders from Target. This I've had for years and I think I found that at Michael's a few years ago. It just holds my paper clips, but underneath there it says the word Inspire. The stapler is from Target as well as the little container I'm using for my binder clips, and that is from Office Depot. I have had that for a few years and that was actually in my office at home, but I took it out to bring it here since it matched so well. My favorite thing on my desk is this little sign that I found from Home Goods that says work hard, stay humble. I just like it because I do try and live by that. And then over here, as far as what's on the wall, this little unit here I got from Home Goods, and I just use this to hang things that I need easy access to. So it has my attendance envelope in there and other files that I think I would be looking at on a regular basis. This sign here is just hiding all the cords back there, and that was handmade by a parent from my previous school, and each of us got one of those for Teacher Appreciation Week one year. This picture here is from Francesca's, which is a small boutique shop that you can find in the local malls out here. It says be strong and courageous. And then this wall calendar is from Target, as well as this mirror. This was from the Target Dollar Spot. This wall hanging where I'm going to hang my lanyard and things like that is from Five and Below. That was during my very first trip to Five and Below. I found that there. This envelope right here is from Target, and I am using this to put cards in it that I've gotten from students or from some of you. So I know somewhere in here, right here, this is a card from one of my subscribers named Pam, who lives in Florida. She sent me this card and a bunch of other little treats, and so I just keep those in there so that if I'm having a bad day, I'll just look through there to tell myself everything's going to be okay. You have support. And then this picture display piece came from Target. I will be adding more pictures along the way. Oh, look. This is an old picture, but me, my sister, my brother. This is one of our dogs that passed away a few years ago. That's Ashton. That's Genesis in her little holiday dress. And that's my mom's dog, Riley. And this is my favorite picture of Genesis because she looks so happy. This was on her birthday one year. So then moving on to the bookcase, I finally got one of these shelving units from IKEA. The first time I saw this was in, I think, a classroom tour from the Lettered Classroom by Bridget, and I liked the way that she had it set up, so I'm going to definitely try her system this year with this to keep me organized. Then these are just my TEs. These bookends I found at Target at the end of the last school year. Down here are just books, picture books that I need to keep to myself because I use them to teach different things, so they're not just out for students. Some more books. And then down here, these are just things that I need. So hole punchers, Post-it notes for my teacher planner, and then more books that don't fit there because they're a little bit taller, and some just personal information that I need to have on hand. And then over here on this side of the bookcase, these are more TEs and other books that I reference quite a bit. These magazine holders came from IKEA. I got the quote-unquote more expensive one. I think you got 2 in a pack for like $2.99 or something, but I wanted the ones that are more reinforced, so I bought those. And then down here is just more teaching resources. Here's some stuff I need to take a look at and put away. That's a little project I need to finish up. And then that's it as far as what's on the shelves for right now. Right here, I did have to stop at the very last minute last week and bought myself a floor lamp because what I found is that this classroom has a light sensor that is all the way over there. Let me zoom in so you can see that little white thing on the wall is a light sensor, or a motion detector, I should say. And it is very sensitive. So if I'm sitting at my desk, not on my desk, at my desk right here for about 15 minutes, the lights will go out because it thinks no one's in here, and I have to get up from this spot and walk approximately to that spot for the lights to go on. And I'm just too lazy to do that every 15 minutes. So that lamp is there so that when the lights go out, I still have a source of light until I get up. So don't judge. It drove me crazy last week. So moving on from that spot here is just the front of the classroom. My biggest concern or worry is that notice that I do not have a desk or a table of any sort in the front of the classroom. I've always had a table in the front of the classroom, and I tried to use the one I had in my class last year, but when I put it there, it just felt very large and in charge, and it just kind of ruined the flow. So I took it out. So I don't really have a place to lay my things down as I'm teaching. What is different about this classroom is that my desk is actually in the front of the classroom, whereas last year my desk was back there. So I'm hoping that even though I don't have a table at the front of the classroom, I can kind of use my desk to lay things down as I don't need them. I'm not really sure if that's going to work. I'm hoping it does, because I really don't want anything up here to kind of make it feel and seem crowded. So moving on to this side of the room, I wanted to show you these because these also came from my subscriber Pam. This was one of the things that she sent me, and they actually were just clips. And I, on Friday, hot glue gunned a magnet on the back so that they can become magnetized clips, and they go perfectly with my classroom. We have more Pom Poms here. And then over here is just a information wall. So the calendar, birthday chart, some inspirational posters for the kids, the lunch menu, the jobs. These came from Amy Grosbeck. I had something here, but I had to move it, so I will probably put, I don't know, maybe the job descriptions there or something along those lines. And then this little table here was actually bought with the intention of being my front table. But then I put it here, and then I ended up just liking the way this looks so much that I left it here. Now it does serve some of the purpose that that front table used to serve, like I would have my TEs on that front table. So this is kind of doing the job I needed to do, but I'm more so talking about when I teach, especially when I'm teaching math, I tend to pick up my TE and then put it down while I'm on the board. And so I don't know how that's going to work without having a table there. So we shall see about that. So turning this way, this is just my counter here. The printer, obviously, stapler and pencil sharpener for students to use. These are student mailboxes that I've replaced. I used to have a much taller unit. I also sold that to someone else. I wanted to replace it because the taller unit actually came to about right there. So it was blocking the view of the window, which I didn't really care for. Plus, I had had it for 12 years. I bought that my first year teaching, and it was kind of on its last leg. So I ordered this from reallygoodstuff.com. This was one of the purchases I bought with the intention of being reimbursed by the school, because we get $100. We might get $200 just because they know it's a little bit more expensive when you're coming to a brand new school. These clips I had on the last shelving unit, and I think this little pattern was a free download on Teachers Pay Teachers, and I just taped them to binder clips so that the mailboxes are numbered, except for the bottom ones. That hasn't happened yet. I'll have to figure something out. And then over here, these two bins will be the student inbox, that are things that need to be turned into me. This will be the send to the office box, things that need to go up to the office. That is a part of their morning routine. They know not to come to me and hand me things in the morning. They know if it's for me, they're gonna put it in the student inbox. If it's for the office, they're gonna put it in the send to the office. So I'm gonna make labels for these two baskets, and then I'm gonna put a little page up here that explains what would go in the student inbox versus what would go in the send to the office. And over here, this unit I had in my classroom last year. The only thing I changed is I did buy these gray bins to match because they used to be red. And so this is where I store lined paper, scratch paper, printer paper, and I can't remember what I had in that fourth basket, but those are just basically different paper trays. I also store scissors there, extra dry erase markers there. When I taught fifth, this is where I had all of my tickets that students would pull, but right now those are empty because I don't really know what I should put in there, and I don't really have a use for them just yet, but maybe I'll be inspired. And then down here, these are just all my drawers. So this drawer has school supplies, extra pencils, erasers, cardstock paper. This drawer has just different things, like different extra pens, lunch bags, different types of tape. And so notice that I have more of these gray bins because they came in a set of, a set of 10 or something. I'm not sure. So I just stick them in the drawer. And then these came from Big Lots, so they're a little bit different. And then down here is where I use the old ones that I had. So I have all these different Post-it notes because I do plan to continue to use the Color Code Your Thinking system from Amy Grosbeck. These are different art supplies. Same here as well as there. Crayons and things are in the back. And then this bottom drawer is just different bulletin boards or things that I tend to hang on the wall. So this is just my stuff down here. Over here is where I've organized all the different readers that go with Wonders. So they are organized by levels and units. So there's an approaching unit, an on-level unit, and a beyond unit. So they are bundled and organized that way, and by unit and week. So there's those, more Wonders there. Then our social studies readers are also in here. And these are empty drawers, I believe. These are just extra storage should I need it. So that is what's nice about this classroom. I had a fair amount of storage in my other classroom, but this has even more. And then there is a cabinet right here. And in this, I just have games that I may use at some point. So moving on, down here is another little storage unit that I had in my previous classroom. In my old classroom, I stored their headphones in there because we had these really large headphones. I don't know if we're going to be having those this year. So for the time being, I've put their testing barriers in here and whiteboards in there. And and then I just have a little step stool. So I think that is it. The other thing I wanted to show you guys is, I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous vlogs that I've done, but these desks are different. They are triangular desks. So the configuration is a little different. I think I like it. I will be putting name tags. I did find these name tags off of Teachers Pay Teachers. Please disregard the font because these were printed out incorrectly and I will be switching them out. But I found these and I was excited when I did because they work perfectly for the circular desk. So I'll be putting their names right up there in the middle using Velcro so that when we move seats, all they have to do is unhinge their name tag and keep it moving. But what's really nice, I didn't realize about these desks until our principal told us, as I get on my knees to show you, is that they do have these little backpack hooks right here. So I was really worried because at my previous school, we had backpack hooks outside. And so I was worried about, well, where are they gonna store their backpacks at? I didn't want the classroom to be just crowded with backpacks everywhere. So that is nice. They will be storing their backpacks down there. And I mean, they have a fair amount of space inside of the desk here. So this was one of the big things parents were excited about when they came to see the school for the first time. So it should be pretty interesting. But let me give you one last scan of the classroom. So this is now the completed classroom. There's not really anything else I intend or plan to add. I will say that I am very happy with the way that it turned out. It turned out the way that I imagined, and in some ways it turned out even better. It's been I don't even know. I wish I could tell you how many days and hours I've spent. I just know that I came in on a pretty consistent basis starting in June 25th, I think, and didn't finish until last week, so the first week of August. So that is it. Make sure that you stay tuned because I am now going to show you a little clip of how Liza's classroom turned out, because we were working on her classroom as well because she moved classrooms. But I want to say thank you so much for all the interest that you guys have shown in seeing how my classroom turned out. I hope that you guys like it, and please give this video a thumbs up if you do, and make sure you share it out there so other people can see what I feel like would be a comfortable classroom to be in, and I would really appreciate it. So talk to you guys soon. Have a great day and have a great school year. Bye everybody.
Oh, hello there. Welcome to G4. This is my new house here, and I just wanted to say hi and bye.
It's not gonna be bye.
Later.
Yeah.
This is our last little blog post because after this, school is in session, and I will probably never even talk to LaTanya again.
That is not true.
Because she's going to move on to bigger and better things. But I wanted to thank you guys for even caring what my room looked like, and you know, enjoying our friendship together with me and LaTanya's. And I'm really going to miss you guys.
You'll see them again.
I'll be so sad here by myself, but it's the sunny skies. Have a great year for all of you teachers out there, and you know, I'm excited to see what's in store for you guys.
Oh,
Oh, bye.
bye.